Hey guys, welcome back to my channel MiTutorials. So yesterday I received a comment on one of my video asking I have a data for 2021 and 2022. If I filter to, let's say, for February, the line chart should show all the data from February 2021 all the way up to February 2022. So I thought, why not make a tutorial on this and explain how this can be achieved. So this is what we will be going to learn today. So to show you how exactly this is going to work, let me click on 1st August 2021. So what this is doing is it is giving me all the data for August and for all the months after August. Let's say, for example, let me just go up here and select 2nd July. That's the oldest data that I have here in this data set. So I'm getting all the data from July onward, July, August and September. And if you see here in my slicer, September is the max data that I have in this particular data set. So I'm going to teach you how to achieve this. So let's get started with this tutorial. So the first thing that you should be doing is that you need to have a calendar table in your BI. So if you don't know how to create a calendar table, I will leave the link to that video in the description below. Please do check that out, and you need to have a calendar table in your BI. Now this is very important in all of your dashboards to have, because this gives you a lot of flexibility to play around with the data and create a lot of different things using the calendar table. So please watch that video if you don't know how to create a calendar table. So once you have created a calendar table, it's going to look something like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here on the modeling tab and click on new table. I'm going to call this table as dates for chart is equals to, I'm just simply going to refer to the calendar table that I have over here. You might create a different, you might create the table with a different name, maybe dates or something. You can simply refer to the calendar table that you have in your database. So let's go to the model now and create a relationship for this particular table that we just created, which is date for chart. So here I have date, and then I'm going to connect this with the order date from my sales table. So once I have established this relationship, and let us firstly add a slicer over here and change the visualization to slicer, and also change this to date. We don't want the date hierarchy, and let us filter this out to only show us the data for 2021. Okay, and I have it already here. So fantastic. So this is now sorted, and now let us prepare on adding the visual here. So let's go over here and create a new visual, maybe this chart over here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in the date from my date for chart that we created. I'm going to add the day over here. Okay, so once you have done this, so now let's go back to our sales table, click on these three ellipses, click on new measure. So let's create a new measure now. So let's call this as sales after selected date. Okay, is equals to, I'm going to define a variable first here, where cell date, which is selected date, is equals to, I'm going to use the calculate function here, and sum of the date from my calendar table, close the bracket. Okay, and then let us now type in return and say calculate, oops, I did a mistake here, calculate total sales. Now I have a measure which is already created in my BI. If you don't have a measure, then you can simply go with sum and the column name. So since I have the measure that is created, I'm going to go with the measure that I have over here, which is total sales. Okay, and then I'm going to say comma, and then we're going to use the cross filter function over here. So it's asking us to enter the left column name, which is going to be the date from my calendar table. I'm going to type in calendar date. Okay, comma, and then it's asking us to enter the right column name. So here we're going to use the date column from our sales table. So I'm going to use the order date from the sales table. Okay, and then comma, cross filter type, I'm going to say none. I'm going to close the bracket, comma, and then on the next line here, I'm going to say filter. Here I'm going to enter the date for chart table, okay, comma, followed by date for chart date, okay, is greater than or equals to cell date that we just created with the variable on top. And then I'm going to close the bracket and press enter. Okay, once you have this created, so we will now get this into our value section over here. So once you have this in the value section, so you see nothing is happening here because we have not selected any date over here. So let us go here and select a date, let's say 1st of May, and you will see 2021 is appearing. And then let's go to show next level. So you will see that we've selected May and we have the data appearing here all the way from May until September, right? So likewise, we have data here for April, which is not appearing here on the table. So let's say if I select 1st June over here, you will see that May has disappeared and we are only getting the data June onwards until September. That is the end of the data set that I have over here. Now let's say if you want to do the opposite, you want to show the data for the months which are prior to what you have selected in this particular slicer. So what you need to do is you need to go back here in the measure that we created, copy the entire measure, and let's click on this and select new measure and paste the entire values over here. Sales after selected date, we're going to change this to sales before selected date. I'm going to change this to before selected date. And one change that you need to make here is you need to change from greater than here to lesser than and press enter. So once we do that, and then let us now bring in another chart over here. So let's just minimize this a bit and let's copy paste this particular visual over here. And let's bring in sales before selected date over here, and then let's close this. So now let's select a date here from a slicer. Let us select, let's say 31st April. So make sure you select the end of the month, date from the end of the month. And if you see here, it is showing us the details of all the months which are prior to March and including March as well. So if you see here, it's showing us the data all the way from Jan, Feb and March. So likewise, one small change I think probably you can do is that you can just select here, go here and remove the is equals to and press enter. So when you do that, basically what happens is that both the charts here will work in sync. So if you select, let's say 1st of April, then over here you will see all the months which are prior to April, and over here you will see everything which is after April until September as per the data that we have in this particular file. So that's it guys in this particular tutorial. I hope this video has helped you. You've learned something new today. Please consider subscribing to my channel for more such tutorials.